right now, right in that area, approaching Clinton. Again, this cell is going to be moving quickly off to the east and northeast. Let me turn the warnings back on so you can see that box. Goes right across Clinton, northern parts of the metro area, and into southern parts of Madison County. Now, also, along with this, there's going to be very strong wind gusts and torrential rain. In this line, we're seeing rainfall rates where you could get a quick 2 inches of rain, so there could be flash flooding in poor drainage areas as well. So right here is what we're looking at in the Clinton area of Hinds County. We've got a circulation developed. You can see it. Draw it for you right in this area here. So coming up on Edgewood Acres, Pine Haven Estates. A possible spin-up tornado being detected by our radar right now, moving off to the northeast at 45 miles per hour. So if you're off of Cynthia Road up towards Greens Crossing, you're looking at about 15 to 20 minutes time from now up towards Madison, southern Madison County, Madison, Ridgeland. Certainly by about 9:30, this circulation could be up your way or shortly thereafter. So again, this is one of those quick spin-up tornadoes. And right there's the protrusion. There, Pine Haven Estates, north of Clinton, Edgewood Acres. This will be coming up to Cynthia when it crosses Highway 49. This will be just to the south of the Presidential Hills neighborhood off of US Highway 49. So this is where it is right now. So Clinton and approaching the 220 area, Interstate 220, 49 coming up that way, coming down the Natchez Trace area. So right along the Natchez Trace, this is where the circulation is right now. It'll be approaching Interstate 220 very shortly, and there you can see now we have a warning ring showing up in the same place. So certainly the possibility of a circulation right in that area, moving towards the northeast pretty quickly now. And so if you're upwind in these areas, you need to keep monitoring this storm as it is heading your way. Now, typically in this type of a situation, what we see are quick spin-ups. This would be an EF0 or an EF1 type tornado, but right there on the protrusion, and this is where we've had the spin-up right there. That's that little nodule. This is what we were talking about through the course of the evening, little bumps and curves along the line of storms. And right there it is, a very good look at that cell north of Clinton now, just to the north of Pine Haven Estates. As it approaches Highway 49, it'll be out near the Presidential Hills area and then continue on to the northeast. Again, this is a tornado warning. Let me put the tornado warning back on for you for a spin-up tornado in this area. Now, I'll tell you what, on the southern fringe of this down here, there's going to be some strong gusty winds coming out of the west direction. Think of this as a little area of low pressure, and that's where you have your possible and it's just that small little nodule that we 49, so it's headed out that way, heads up all these areas right now. This cell is moving to the northeast at 45. At least that was the speed when I first checked it before I came on air. So this is for Hinds County right now, and it will be moving up into the southern parts of Madison County. So take this what you would expect. Intense lightning strikes, gusty winds, and let's not forget about the torrential rain associated with that. There is a new picture that just came in with the scan, and It's getting harder to see, but it looks like it's right here over Highway 49 right now, right in there, coming up between Pocahontas and the Green Crossings area. Here's Robinson Springs. Hey, if you live out in this part of Hinds County, you know where I'm talking about. That's where that circulation is right now. Tornado warning for this area. Let me check my severe weather. Also, let's take a look at the shear. Are picking up a little bit of shear. This would be a little bit of rotation in that same area with the velocity couplet, which is right in there. And I don't think there's really much of a hail concern. I'm not seeing any black on that. Check our coefficient right there. And let me just turn that off. You know, get so many things on the screen here. Check the coefficient there. And right in this area, I don't think we're seeing any debris. This looks pretty uniform right now. What correlation coefficient looks for when it's looking into the storm? It's looking for, you know, you have rain that's uniform. It's looking for something different in there, and everything's pretty uniform in there. So I think we are okay with that. All right, let's go back out wide. And just let me give you the big picture across the area right now as this really circulation center continues to look like it is increasing. So this is the type of feature right there that we really do see in these type of situations spin up tornadoes. So take this one seriously, headed out between Pocahontas and Greens Crossing right now. I'll turn the tornado warning polygon back on, just get a little bit wider so the folks upstream can see that. So if you're up in Madison, Ridgeland, Gluckstadt, Germantown area, Reunion, up towards Annandale, this cell would be headed your way. Not picking up any shear markers. Sometimes the lightning will illuminate that. We have a lot of lightning off to the north of that circulation, which is right in that area. So it is already just past to the north of Clinton High School right there, Pine Haven Road, the Pine Haven Estates subdivision just passing off to your north. Really looks like it's crossing Highway 49 right now. Greens Crossing, Presidential Hills area. A little bit further to the north, you get up towards Pocahontas. Got the Cock of the Walk up there off of Highway 49. And then down here, you got Cynthia Road, which runs from the high school and the middle school, soccer fields out there. I just mentioned all this, so if you do live in these areas, you know what we are talking about. So I'll just leave that area circled, and you might notice the warning ring kind of comes and goes, kind of just depends on the circulation, but clearly we do have a circulation in that area, and that certainly does bring concern for a quick spin up and certainly the threat of some wind damage in that area. So let's get a little bit wider. Now, the entire viewing area is under a tornado watch, and just for the folks that are in other parts of the viewing area, I'm just going to move along this severe thunderstorm line very quickly. Here in northern parts of the viewing area, in eastern Holmes County, crossing Interstate 55 up towards Durant and Goodman, straight line winds here and torrential rains. And this is what I was talking about, how these storms were behaving. Look at that. Look at the straight line right down along that, tilted a little bit, and then let me pan just a little bit further down here, and up here we're just dealing with torrential rain, heavy rain, and some strong wind gusts. You go from southeasterly and southerly winds, the heavy rain comes in, and you get a pretty strong wind gust off to the south. I'll tell you what, can we take the reservoir Skycam quickly, because in the area that we're talking about, there is some very intense lightning. Can we get the reservoir Skycam up? There it is, and let me just step out here. We're looking right off to the west into where that cell is, and you can see, look at the intense lightning strikes associated with the cell that we're tracking coming out of Hinds we have here in Mississippi is intense lightning around that circulation area. So let's go back to live Storm Shield 16 Doppler radar. And so from our viewers up there across eastern Yazoo County, we've had some strong winds. And now down further to the south here, this is where we're tracking that cell. And let me get a little bit closer again. Already now, it looks like it's going to be to the east or just about crossing Highway 49. So if you're in Mansdale, Reunion, out towards Cedar Hill, this cell is very close to you. It's moving at a pretty good clip right now. Let's put the reflectivity back on, and I'll circle it right again. It is right in this area right here where we have this possible spin-up tornado moving off to the northeast. Let's check in with our coalition coefficient again, and looking pretty uniform right now, so we're not seeing any debris or anything spewed up by that. So that is good news, but certainly no doubt about it, we got a little bit of a circulation center, almost like a ball of rain there, and you're looking at the winds wrapping up around that segment of wind. All right, let me turn my pencil back off, clear all that. Annandale, this is where this cell goes, and as long as we continue to see this little protrusion, we think there could be a spin-up tornado in that area. So it's moving pretty good at a down here is the immediate Jackson metro area. So all this is further off to the north. There you can see the protrusion, and look how straight that edge is. So again, here you see the difference. Straight, linear, gusty wind threat, but it's right up here where we have that protrusion kind of sticking out right there. We got Sydney here in the Weather Center. She's helping out, and she's watching some things as well. Let's get a quick update from her behind the scenes. Maybe she's seeing a little, she's been doing some storm analysis over there. She's been looking at some things. Sydney, what do you have over there?
Yeah, David, I've been watching closely with the National Weather Service. We have nothing to go confirmed yet, but we do, like you've been saying, have that really good signature that we could be seeing a weak spin-up tornado in this area. They did just clip that warning now, so now we're looking more towards Canton, Ridgeland. This is going your direction towards the northeast. So again, this is a tornado warning in effect, so if you are in this area, you need to be in your safe place right now, because this could likely be a quick spin-up tornado embedded in this line, along with most likely some very strong winds, if not anything at all. Again, not confirmed, but the National Weather Service is watching it. They've got people out there that are watching this area of rotation. I am gonna go check on the velocity real quick so we can look at what that couplet is doing and get an update on that. I'm zooming in here. This embedded in this line. Right here, these reds and greens, that's where we're seeing those winds going in different directions. That's to and away from the radar. So this is what we see as an indication of rotation. This is what we're looking for in this line. Like David was saying, that lumps in those lines, this is giving us that signature that we could be seeing a weak spin-up tornado in this line. So I'm gonna zoom back out again to see what that's looking like and see where this direction, where this is headed. Right here, we can see this inflow notch. Again, another thing that we look for in radar signifying that this is some sort of rotation in this line. Again, lightning, David mentioned that, a lot of lightning with this, giving us an indication of a strong storm. So again, this is a tornado warning. Go into your safe place. This is heading towards Reunion, upstream Lake Caroline and Sloan. David, let's go back to you on that.
All right, we got a close-up here. I got a side by side on Storm Shield 16 3D, if we could go over to that, please. That's Vicksburg. The heavy rains passed there a short time ago. And this is what we're talking about. Here's Mansdale, Annandale, Madison, Gluckstadt, Lake Caroline, Livingston community. And here's where we're wrapping up, just past Pocahontas and Greens Crossing a short time ago. And then we do the comparison. So it's right in this area right here. It's not a strong circulation, but it is a weak circulation. And there you saw, just got a radar update, and continue to see this protrude part is going to pass to the north of Ridgeland and County Line Road as it makes its way to the northeast. So heads up, Mansdale, Annandale. Spin up circulation in here with a little bit of a tornado. Heads up. You just see the big lightning display associated with the cell that I just showed you that we are tracking. To 2 inches of rain, so there could be some flash flooding as well. This is what we've been watching as this disturbance comes in. We've had some spin potential from about Jackson southward, but so far the line has behaved itself, stayed linear and straight, and now we just have this one protrusion. Tornado watch till 2 a.m., severe thunderstorm warning for parts of the metro area, and there is the tornado warning that we have been tracking. Watch what happens here. This is our line that continues to come together, and it extends all the way down into southwest Mississippi, Natchez, Fayette, and then into Hinds County. Here's our tornado warning now into southern Madison County, and this is the line that will continue to cross our area. Now the setup is, for another 1 to 2 hours, this line of storms is interacting with some very strong winds moving right across it. So the spin-up tornado threat really looks like it'll be high through about 10 to 11 o'clock at night. But that's the only little kink and bump that we have right now. All right, let me punch here, and this is the timeline. The worst of the weather has ended along the Mississippi River through 10 to 11 o'clock right there from Jackson down towards Brookhaven and Macomb, and then exiting our area by about midnight. So that is our severe clear. Let me show you the severe clear. This kind of goes with it. So it's cleared our western counties. I think worst of it will be over by 11 and 12 to 1 in our eastern counties. So again, through midnight, this squall line will continue to cross our area. Let me just back up here and get back to the radar once again. And
right now, this is our shear indicator. So this brown spot is telling us where the strongest shear is and likely where that spin up tornado is. Now, right now, that's going over Cedar Hill. That's heading up towards Reunion Parkway. I did track out what that looks like in the next 10, 15 minutes. So over here, we've got Meltonville the next 10 minutes, Nissan in the next 10 minutes, Deerfield, Madisonville in the next 14 minutes if this holds up. Now, this is a weak spin up, and it could reform, it could weaken and reform. So we've got to watch that. Now, look, that brown spot that I was talking about, that just got larger. So that's signifying that it did maybe just intensify. And in a couple of minutes, that I was speaking. So again, that's right over Cedar Hill. That's going to cross Again, that's heading towards Gluckstadt, Reunion. I'm going to turn the reflectivity on once again. We're still seeing that inflow notch. It is getting a little bit more broad, so that's some good indication that this could be possibly weakening, but the shear just told me that it did just re-intensify quickly. So Reunion, that's over you right now, heading towards Gluckstadt, Nissan. This is a tornado warning in effect until 9:45. David, let's go back to you.
All right, yeah, that protrusion is sticking out closely, and it's coming up on Gluckstadt right now, and Reunion as well. So Reunion and Gluckstadt under the gun associated with this storm cell crossing your area. Just put up of Lake Caroline, get very close. So it's going to be bearing down here over the next couple of minutes. On Gluckstadt, it did look a little more broad. The circulation wasn't quite as tight. It means it's kind of pulling apart a little bit there. And so that might be perhaps that it's done maybe with its strongest part. We'll see as it goes with time. But we still have, you know, the red and green right next to each other. Warning ring hasn't quite caught up with it. The circulation would be right in that area right now. So this will also be passing, you know, where the Nissan plant is and the Nissan Parkway, and then headed up towards the Canton Academy. Just check the shear here, and really seeing it strewn out over distance. Again, this is because we have a line in there, and so it's really picking up on the wind direction change.
A tornado in Madison near Lake Carolina.
Well, that probably, you know, it was passing just to the south of there. And with a lot of this activity that we are seeing, let's get right here. Here's Lake Caroline. So if you're looking off to the south, it's possible you could see a little bit of a circulation in that area. The lightning has decreased. It's not quite as strong as it is. And it looks like the storm may not be as strong as it was, but sometimes when the storms are on the downturn is when it will actually tornado and produce the quick spin up. Nonetheless, we're not looking at a powerful tornado in here. This would be the EF0 or EF1 type caliber, but certainly nonetheless with the gusty winds that we've had and now the heavy rain, some of these areas that are in the path of this storm and then back behind it. I mean, there's blinding rain in Florida, back towards Nevada and Brownsville. Very heavy rain continuing there. And then southward down across Bolton and the western parts of Hinds County. Very, very heavy rain. And all this does have the capability of producing some heavy rain. All right, so for all our viewers, and again, how many times do we see the line impacting almost the entire viewing area from north to south? So let me take you along the line, and then we'll go back to Sydney for an update. Look at the heavy rain up here in Durant. And up towards Canton. So this is the area of concern where we have some rotation in this area right now. Notice we have the warning ring popping up. Check our severe weather button, not picking up any strong winds there. And we do have some shear as well. If I get very close, there's some rotation right around Canton Academy, and then as we head, here's Lake Caroline. We've had some rotation out here to the southeast of Lake Caroline and in the vicinity of Germantown High School, and it looks like that has now pushed a little bit further to the east. So there it is, some circulation right to the east of Interstate 55, to the east now of Germantown High School, on the east side of Interstate 55, coming up where the Nissan Parkway heads to the north, and then further to the north, a little bit of a circulation up into that area as well. Again, it's not as distinct as it was a short time ago, but there's still a little bit of protrusion. It certainly looks like we're on the downturn with this cell, so we'll continue to monitor that. Now, further to the south, again, as we get into southern Madison County and then come down into the Jackson area, it's straight. So we're not concerned about a spin up, at least at this time. And then further to the south, we got heavy rain just getting ready to move into the TV station out towards Sywell. And then here we are down towards Midway, Palestine, Seven Springs. This looks like straight line winds or gusty winds here, not even as strong as they are further to the north. And you get even further to the south. Let me even just widen the view. There are no warnings down here, but there certainly is some torrential rains as well. So no warnings down towards Fayette. To the west of Brookhaven, Hazelhurst, and Crystal Springs. Heavy rains have moved to the east of Natchez. So let's go back up here before I throw it back to Sydney. As we come into the western side of the metro area right now, turn the warnings back on. And that's the only warning. We don't even have severe thunderstorm warnings along here. I'm telling you, where it's raining, and if you're in a poor drainage area, flash flooding could be an issue. All right, there's the tornado warning coming up to the east of Germantown, just to the south of Canton, headed on to the east of I-55 right now. Let me just look at the velocity real quick here. I was kind of had an eye on that area, but the velocity looked okay. All right, Sydney, back to you.
All right, David, yeah, I'm still monitoring this tornado warning that's in effect until 9:45 for Madison County. Now, I do agree with you. I was looking at the velocity, and it does look to be more broad and kind of falling apart. So we are still watching it. This is still in effect until 9:45 for Madison County, right to the east of Germantown, on top of Germantown High School, heading towards Nissan and Canton. So again, still need to be in your safe place as this is continuing to move that direction in the northeast. That's going to be making its way over there in the next 5 or so minutes. Milltown, to see if this is weakening and we're not seeing as tight as a rotation as we were before. So when you see this, we still have those red to see what that's looking like. And I can also zoom in and see where the most of this rotation is right now. So good news here. We're not seeing any of those brown circles like we were earlier. That was letting us know there was some strong rotation, strong let me clear this and get into reflectivity. So these red boxes across the area, that's that tornado watch boxes. This is still in effect until 2 a.m. because we've still got this line that's going to progress across the metro. Now, I do hear the rain here at the station, David, so definitely getting those heavy rainfall and lightning strikes.
Yeah, it's finally come into the area, and this is the only warning that we have in the viewing area right now for Madison County. took Rankin County out of the box, and that small circulation we've been pointing out, crossing Interstate 55. Heavily in some of these areas, but you can see 1.5 inches per hour in some of these spots. It is raining for an hour or more, so that certainly is some significant rainfall in those areas. All right, let's go back to reflectivity now. And south of that area, again, we have this straight edge. The main threat is going to be brief flash flooding in poor drainage areas from southern Madison County and across Hinds County. And we just continue to watch this circulation, and we've watched it steadily move across the area here through the course of the last 30 minutes or so. Let me. All right, so yeah, we'll see the tornado warning extend downwind, so areas Sharon, Shockoe, Farm Haven, this tornado warning is going to be extended. This was to be expire at 9:45, and the circulation that we continue to track does look like it will make it to 9:45 and continue on. Now, if you're in the Deerfield subdivision, looks like that circulation has passed just to your north. So it looks like as we went across, I'll draw a line. It looks like that basically has been the track of our circulation from just to the southeast of Lake Caroline, near Reunion and Annandale, just north of Gluckstadt, Germantown High School. That's where that circulation appeared to be the strongest, and now coming up just to the south of Canton Academy. So it will be approaching Highway 43 in the next minute or two, and then continue off to the northeast. That tornado warning hasn't been issued over here yet, but it'll head up towards the Shockoe community in Hinds County. Yeah, you really can hear the rain coming down pretty hard here at the TV station right now. Good news here, as we look at some of our images, don't see a whole lot of shear associated with that. So again, we've been watching it, we've been tracking it, and certainly the circulation is not as strong as it was a short time ago. So that is good news associated with that. And there you can see the new tornado warning that is in effect, and that's probably in effect till 10:30 or 10:45, I would imagine. That's usually how long they issue them for. But look how long this tornado warning is, because this cell has been moving between 45 and 55 miles per hour. So the new tornado warning does include areas in Leake County up towards Carthage. So this will be moving up from Canton and headed up towards, maybe moving just to the north of the Natchez Trace Parkway. Get a little bit closer, put some communities on here so you can see it. So there's the new tornado. And then headed off to the northeast. Keep in mind, moving at a pretty good clip, so let's draw out here. Let me turn my pen off. I thought I could draw the polygon. There we go. There's a little update, and well, it's not doing what I want it to do. Let me turn my pencil off. There it goes. Now let me draw it out there, get some communities out here for you. All right, there you go. That's what I wanted to do. Show some of these areas that it is headed out to. So Havendale, Raytown coming into you over the next couple of minutes, and just continue to watch this. You know, for it to get up into Leake County, it's got a long way to go, and it looks like the circulation might be trying to come down. But, you know, with these weak spin-ups, they can be really Sharon and Shockoe, you're about to get the worst of the cell right now. So let me put it in motion, widen the view so you can just see how that's coming. And you see that, Sydney, there? I'm going to stop that again. See, I think it's trying to come up again here. See right down there to the southeast of Canton, that little protrusion. And so it's right in this area where you would wrap it up. So it's still, you know, and this is just passing to the north of Deerfield and has crossed Highway 43. So if you're on the west side of 43 to the north of Deerfield as you're headed up towards Canton there and just to the north of the Natchez Trace, it's past you and it's now on the east side of Highway 43. So keep that in mind in these areas up towards Shockoe and Farmhaven. That's where it looks like this circulation is headed right now. Again, not a big, strong tornado by any stretch of the imagination, probably an EF0 or EF1, but it certainly has been showing a little history where it's, you know, just kind of keeps on going. Let's put the wind in motion here, pan over a little bit. Well, I'll tell you, when I look at the wind, it almost looks like it's trying to gust out now. So, you know, hey, when we're covering severe weather, we watch them intensify. You know, we're doing storm analysis on the fly. But what I'm kind of seeing here right now, let me just stop it, show you the reflectivity. There is a little protrusion, you know, right in this area. But when we go to the velocity, I'm seeing a nice push of wind, so it may be more of a strong gusty wind of 50 to 70 miles per hour in that area, not really picking up any strong wind. So there's a lot going on with that cell. All right, let's go back over to Sydney for another quick update, and I'll reset my maps.
Yeah, David, I've actually am pixel querying the winds right now because we're actually pretty close to the radar. So this is giving us a decent estimate of how fast these winds are. So what I've pixel queried was around 30 to 40 miles an hour. Now we did just get scan update, so let me redo that so we can get a better idea of what the winds are looking like right now. So what I'm doing is I'm pixel querying our winds. Now some of these, the farther away we go, so this 60 miles an hour is most likely not at the surface, but that doesn't mean that we're not getting strong winds at the surface. I mean, look, I pixel queried 42 miles an hour just to the east of Canton, 28 miles an hour just south of Havendale, and 60 south of Camden. Now, again, that may not be exactly right at the surface because the radar beam does not go right at the surface, but this is a good indication that we are getting strong winds within this tornado warning. Now, what David clear the DBZ, and just to the east of Shockoe, we're starting to see that nick here. That's where we're getting that rotation, and this is also where the National Weather Service has clipped that warning. So this is what we're watching now, moving towards Havendale. That's going to be heading towards you in the next 5 or so minutes. So I can track that out so we can get a time of arrival as we watch this nick here, this curve going that direction. So again, this is most likely just a weak spin-up tornado, but that doesn't mean that there's not strong winds with this storm. So let's time that out so we can get an idea of how far this will go. So this storm is moving around 45, 50 miles an hour. So I'm gonna move this here to 45 in that direction. So Shockoe in the next 5 minutes or so, Havendale 10 to 15 minutes, that's going your way. Millville in the next 15 minutes as well. Upstream, if this does decide that it wants to re-strengthen, we could see that moving towards Revive in the next 20 or so minutes, Forest Grove as well. But right now, we're still seeing this nick over Highway 16 and going up towards Old Highway 16, Highway 43 north as well towards Havendale. So again, this is going in your direction. David, we're going to keep watching this as we are still in a tornado warning until 10:45.
When we deal with these weak circulations, a lot of our severe weather products really struggle to find things. And here's one that usually is very, very reliable. This is the rotation tracker. And notice here I've drawn the white line where we were tracking that circulation. But look at all the red areas where we've seen strong rotation. That's because we've had a strong change in wind direction. We had southeast winds blowing in, and then the heavy rain passed and the wind switched to the west and northwest. But this is where we saw that little nodule on the heavy rain started out in Hinds County to basically just to the north of Clinton, came across Tinnen, and maybe a little bit further south than this, because we were talking about Greens Crossing and Cynthia, but then it was up towards Reunion, Lake Caroline, Gluckstadt, now moving off to the east of Highway 43. But very, very messy indeed associated with that, all that. Let me turn my computer back on here. Before I get that back up on the screen here, let me get it started. There we go. Bottom line, some of these areas, and we're seeing some reports already, where roadways are covered with very heavy rain moving across the area and quick flash flooding. So we got a lot of road reports of flash flooding. If you have plans, if you're on a night shift and you're going out late tonight, or you were somewhere, might be a good idea to watch and just wait for this heavy line to pass. Now, this is, let me turn the warnings back on so we can see what we're talking about here. Here's this line, and there may still be some kind of a weak circulation in that cell, but it's certainly not as strong or impressive looking as it was a short time ago. Tornado warning does continue up here, but it just doesn't look as strong as it was, and I don't think it's producing a tornado per se like we were a short time ago. So this is up towards Sharon. Poor drainage areas. Watch it here again, though. We got our protrusion, and now it really looks like it's more of an area of strong and gusty winds associated with that. So perhaps if that good news is, though, we're seeing a little bit more of an eastward push than we were earlier in the evening. So perhaps Springs, Hazelhurst, Wesson, near Brookhaven, severe thunderstorm warning associated with this line of storms. And we'll keep an eye on that, see if it does try to get some rotation in it. Let me just stop this a second. And it's really now, we were talking about the 8 to 11 area, and that was the time frame of concern for the strongest cells, and kind of proved to be good. Right after 9:15, we started to see that one cell develop some rotation, and now we have another cell trying to increase in intensity just to the east of Fayette and to the west of Wesson. So we got a severe thunderstorm warning down there, and I'll get a little bit closer and we'll just take a look at the winds on it right now, and we're not really seeing, let me turn the lightning so we can see in there better. We're not seeing any real turning of the wind. Looks pretty straight as we go right down the line. Kind of